Thank you for viewing the Early Intervention Compliance Indicators webinar. This webinar was recorded in February 2022. During today's webinar, we are going to discuss the compliance indicators that are defined by the Office of Special Education Programs. First is Indicator 1, Timely Services, Indicator 7, which is the 45-day timeline, and Indicator 8A, B, and C, which are transition activities. The federal target for all compliance indicators is 100%. Indicator 1, Timely Services, is the percentage of infants and toddlers with an IFSP who receive early intervention services listed on their IFSP in a timely manner. In the state of Colorado, that is defined as 28 days. When the actual start date is greater than 28 days from the date of consent, the service is considered late. Any late service requires a late reasons. Services may be late due to either a family or a system late reason. Family reasons cannot be helped and therefore do not negatively impact compliance. System reasons are considered the fault of the EI program. Any missing data, such as a missing start date or a missing late reason, is considered late data due to a system reason. For Indicator 1, there are a number of appropriate late service options that are related to family reason. There's child or family illness. So this is when the IFSP service is canceled due to a child or family member being ill, and it cannot be rescheduled to meet the deadline. Family schedule would be if the family is offered several dates and times for their services to start, but the family has a specific date and time that they want services. So this would be, for example, the family can only do services at 4:30 on a Thursday afternoon. The service coordinator lets the family know that there's a provider who's available Mondays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Fridays at 10 a.m. And the family says no to all of those options because it does not meet their scheduled requirements. Family request greater than 28 days is when the family specifically requests that the services begin later than the 28-day timeline. Severe weather, which in Colorado is typically considered a snow day. Family no-show, which is when the family has a scheduled visit with their provider, but the family is not home or is not available at that time where the initial service should be starting. There are system late reasons for timely services, and the first one is service provider not available. So this is that the service coordinator or the CCB cannot locate a provider who's available, who before the 28-day timeline expires. This is contrasted with system provider schedule, which would be a provider's assigned before the 28-day deadline, but they cannot initiate services in a timely manner to meet that deadline. We have no interpreter available, CCB or provider reschedule, which means the service is needed to be rescheduled on the part of either the CCB or the provider, making it a system issue. Communication error. This would be either on the part of the provider or the CCB. And SC issue, which is when the IFSP service is late due to a service coordinator issue. For timely services, we also have some not provided or declined late reasons. So we have not provided by the family. So this would be that the services identified on the IFSP do not have an actual start date that's due to a family reason. So when the case is closed, this service never started because the family had a difficult schedule, or they requested greater than 28 days, or there were multiple no-shows. Not provided system is when the actual start date never occurs for a child due to a system reason. So this may be that there's no provider available, or due to a communication error, or an SC issue. Thirdly, we have parent declined. So this is when a parent declines one or more services on the IFSP. And this can also apply to children and families who are deciding to have service coordination only. So there's no IFSP services occurring, but they still have family outcomes on their IFSP, and they're receiving service coordination services. The next federal indicator is indicator 7, 45-day timeline. So this is the percent of infants and toddlers with an IFSP for whom the initial evaluation, initial assessment, and IFSP meeting are conducted within the 45-day timeline. An IFSP is considered late when the IFSP is greater than 45 days from the date of referral. Late IFSPs require a late reason. Again, this could be a family reason or a system reason, and any missing data is considered late due to a system reason. The family late reasons for the 45-day timeline include family child hospitalized. So this is children who might be an inpatient in the NICU or PICU at the time the referral is made. We have child or family illness, family schedule. Again, the family is offered multiple time slots for their evaluation, assessment, or initial IFSP, and decline those due to their schedule or the family's availability. Family requests greater than 45 days, which would be the family is requesting that services happen, or that the IFSP is developed after the 45-day deadline. We have family no-show, difficulty reaching the family. So this might be that there have been multiple attempts to contact the family, either at the point of initial referral or while scheduling for the evaluation or initial IFSP. We have some additional family late reasons, which are no bio-parent signature. This is instances where the biological parents retain their parental rights, but getting signatures and consent for that evaluation is delayed due to getting a hold of those biological parents. And again, we have severe weather. Some of the system late reasons for the 45-day timeline, or indicator 7, are that the AU or CCB reschedules. So for some reason, the AU, LEA, or the CCB needs to reschedule the evaluation. If the MDA is not timely, so this would be the multidisciplinary evaluation or multidisciplinary assessment, could not be completed in order to meet the 45-day timeline. We have no interpreter available and required participants not available. Next, we're going to talk about indicator 8. So indicator 8 is the percent of children exiting Part C who receive timely transition planning to support their child's transition to preschool or other appropriate community services by their 3rd birthday. Indicator 8B is an IFSP with transition steps and services. Indicator 8A is IFSP with transition steps and services. Indicator 8B is LEA notification for children who are potentially eligible. And indicator 8C is the transition conference for children that are potentially eligible for Part B services. Transition plan 8A. So transition planning may occur between 2 years, 3 months, and 2 years, 9 months. Transition planning starts when transition steps and services are documented on the transition plan page of the IFSP. Transition planning must occur in conjunction with an IFSP meeting. Therefore, the required participants include the parent, provider, and service coordinator. Transition plan is considered late when it occurs after 2 years, 9 months of age. Some of the family late reasons for transition plan are child or family illness, difficulty contacting, family schedule, family refused, which should be used on rare occasions, family no-show, and severe weather. System late reasons for transition plan include AU-CCB reschedule. Because the AU is not a required participant for transition planning, this reason should only be selected if the CCB needed to reschedule the transition plan meeting, and it could not be rescheduled prior to the child turning 2 years, 9 months of age. We have system SC issue, no interpreter available, and required participants not available. Again, the required participants for transition plan are the same as the required participants for an IFSP meeting. Indicator 8B, AU notification, is notifying the AU or LEA that a child is potentially eligible for Part B services. Notification occurs between 2 years, 3 months and 2 years, 9 months. The process is to notify the parent of the intent to send the child's personally identifiable information to the AU, notifying the family, the parent, of the opt-out policy, which is contained within the family rights and procedural safeguards, and informing the family that additional information can be sent with parental consent. If there is no response from the parent, the service coordinator will send personally identifiable information to the AU via the AU notification form 10 days after intent was communicated. So personally identifiable information is sent 10 days later if you leave a message informing family of their intent to send this personally identifiable information. If you send them an email letting them know that you intend to send personally identifiable information, share the opt-out policy, and inform them that additional information is only sent with parental consent. Indicator 8B is the only indicator that the EI program has full control over, and we are expected to be at 100% compliance. AU notification is late if it occurs after 2 years, 9 months of age. The late reasons for AU notification are slightly different and slightly more limited. So the first late reason is family previously opt-out. This would be an instance in which the family was informed of the opt-out policy for their child who is potentially eligible, and they said, I do not want the LEA to have any of my child's information. But later, as their child approaches age 3, they decide that they do actually want to send that information to the AU LEA, and they don't make that decision until after 2 years, 9 months. Not potentially eligible is documented in the data system. This is for children where the AU notification is not sent because they are not identified as potentially eligible for Part B services. There are 2 late system options. So LEA not notified. This would be if the LEA is not notified due to a system reason, or system SC issue. This is primarily the service coordinator forgot to send the AU notification before 2 years, 9 months of age. Transition conference is indicator 8C. Again, transition conference, like all other transition activities, occurs between 2 years, 3 months and 2 years, 9 months of age. Transition conference can occur in conjunction with an IFSP meeting or is a standalone transition conference. Required participants include the parent, the AU-LEA representative, and the service coordinator. Transition conferences can still occur if the AU-LEA is not available to participate. However, they had been notified of the meeting. Transition conference is the same late again if it's after 2 years, 9 months. Some of the late reasons for transition conference that are attributable to the family would be that family previously opted out. So they initially opted out, therefore a transition conference was not required, but they later changed their mind, determined that they want to notify the AU-LEA of their child's potential eligibility, but the transition conference cannot be convened prior to 2 years, 9 months. We have child or family illness, family schedule, severe weather, family no-show, and difficulty contacting the family. For system late reasons for transition conference, we have the first one, which is AU-CCB reschedule. Again, it should only happen if the CCB needs to reschedule, because so long as the AU-LEA is notified, they do not have to be in attendance for the transition conference to occur. We have a system SC issue, no interpreter available, and required participants not available. In the data system, there is an option for late referrals. So a referral is considered late if the child is referred within 45 days of transition age, which is 2 years, 9 months. The EI data system will document on the EI case that this is a late referral, and all transition activities for 8A, B, and C will have the late reason family late referral indicated for those for the 8A, B, and C indicators. Additionally, in March of 2020, we added a new late reason for natural disaster pandemic as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This late reason is considered an exceptional circumstance by OSEP and is reported separately from other system late reasons. Although this may impact our state's compliance, it will not result in non-compliance findings at the state or local level. Additionally, this new late reason can be used for other natural disasters that may impact our state, such as flooding, wildfires, or tornadoes. Thank you for taking the time to watch this portion of the EI Colorado indicators. I'm now going to turn this over to Matt O'Brien, who is going to talk us through the new indicator monitoring tool and what that process looks like.
Thank you, Beth.
Hold on 1 second, Matt, while I figure out how to give you control.
Okay.
All right, and here is Matt O'Brien.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. So as Beth had indicated, in order to help support the CCBs in complying with the indicator data requirements, we have developed a monitoring tool that will look at the data being collected in the EI data system and render reports that will allow you to monitor how compliant you are within a given time frame. So what you're seeing here on the screen is the monitoring tool landing page, the summary report. First, I'd like to point out, you'll notice here there's some areas within the reports that I'll be going through that appear to be blank. These are whited out for, the names, important information is whited out. However, when you open up your own individualized monitoring tool, your CCB name will appear, that information will appear. Secondly, I would just like to point out that should you like to reference the slides that Beth had gone through, there is a link to those slides right here on the summary report landing page. So now we can get into the functionality and how to navigate through this tool. Right from the summary report page, you'll see that we've laid out each indicator and the corresponding system reason late count and the count of not valid and reliable, and in correspondence with percent timely and percent valid and reliable. You'll notice there isn't a count for the family, as this is only for late missing data being reported. And as Beth alluded to in the slide presentation, the family, any family late reasons are not negatively impacting the CCB standing. So from here, you can look at what we're looking at now is the entire fiscal year up to this point. So this is your year-to-date look at the data. Now, should you want to look back in previous fiscal quarters, you can also do that by looking at what we're referring to as the fiscal quarter snapshot. So in order to switch views, just go ahead and select this quarter selector, select the fiscal quarter that you want to look at, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull that information in to look at that fiscal quarter snapshot. So what a snapshot is going to be looking at is once the fiscal quarter has concluded and the due date has passed for the data to be entered, and that's of course going to be your November 5th, February 5th, May 5th, and August 5th of each fiscal year, what we'll do is take a snapshot of that data. And so that way you can review back to what that data, how that data appeared at that point in time. Now that is also used in our quarterly data snapshot review, which you'll be familiar with seeing here, to give you a visual of how that data is being collected over the course of the entire fiscal year, quarter by quarter. Also, this is where we're going to generate the points awarded for each CCB, depending on the level of data compliance for each fiscal quarter. So those points are tallied up. You'll be able to see here just how those are calculated and added up to give your final score. So moving back to the summary report page, you can certainly look at each indicator. Well, we can look at all the indicators all together here at the summary page, or we can go ahead and drill into each indicator to get a deeper dive into what's behind the numbers that are being made up, that are coming into this report. So we're going to go ahead and switch back to fiscal year, so we can take a look at this information, and you can see, okay, well, we have 3 here and 3 late and 2 not valid and reliable. So let's go take a look at what cases those are. So we can just go ahead up here to the link indicator 1, select indicator 1, and that's going to take you right over to the tab that has the expanded indicator 1 data. From here, you can see the list of cases that are going to be making up that total, and then you can slide over to the right, and you can see further, say, okay, well, here's the 3 that are being counted for system late and the 2 that are missing some data, therefore being counted as not valid and reliable, as per the requirements given in the slides. So from here, what you can do is select that case number, copy that case number, and navigate into the data system and to correct that information to add that missing data. You can certainly either copy the case number right from this list and go into your instance of the data system and paste that in there into the global search. If you'd like to drill into the supporting data system report, you can go ahead and click on that link here, and that'll take you right into the data system as well. So you'll also notice that the state averages carry over too, so you can see how that's comparing. And depending on your selection, your quarter selection, you'll notice it'll display what time frame that is capturing. So you'll notice here the fiscal year selectors going from 7/1/2021 to 6/30/2022. But if we change this over to fiscal quarter one, it's going to pull that information in. And once it does, you'll see that changes to match the parameters of fiscal quarter one. Now, once we're done reviewing this information, if we want to navigate back to the summary page, we just click on this link here to take us back to that summary report. Now, please note, you can also navigate the bottom here. The tabs will function very similar. You can go ahead and click on that tab. That is perfectly exactly the same way of navigation. From there, we're going to go ahead and we also have added a missing data report selector, where this kind of goes in addition to the indicators, but just wanted to point out that it is here. So that there's additional missing information in the data system. You'll find it here on this missing data report tab. You can see what reports are listed or offered in the report selector. You can go just navigate, select the report that you'd like to look at. That'll go ahead and pull that information in to show you which cases are missing information. From there, if you want to, like the other indicator reports, if you want to drill further into the data system via the supporting report, you can go ahead and select that hyperlink here. It'll take you right into the data system. And you can see here along the bottom, we have all indicators in 1, 7, 8A, B, and C. In addition, we've included the indicator 3, and like I said, we've included that missing data reports as well. All right, so that is the data reporting monitoring tool.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
This webinar will be posted on the Early Intervention YouTube site, as well as in our resource guide that is available on the EI Colorado website under Unicorn Resources. Please feel free to revisit at any time and reach out to Matt, myself, or your region lead if you have any questions about your indicator report or what late reasons are applicable or anything related to the information shared today. Thank you so much.